When Stranger Things Season 4 ended, fans were left absolutely devastated by the loss of Eddie Munson. He was the loud, misunderstood metalhead with a heart of gold who won over everyone with his charm, bravery, and love for Dungeons and Dragons. His death was one of the most emotional moments in the entire series. But now, with the upcoming Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons collaboration called Welcome to the Hellfire Club, it feels like the show is making his death even harder to move on from. Instead of giving closure, this update just reminds fans of how much potential the character had and how painful it was to lose him so soon. Eddie Munson wasn't just another side character. He had depth, heart, and a lot of room to grow. When he was introduced in Season 4, he immediately clicked with the audience. He was fun, fearless, and clearly misunderstood by the people in Hawkins. While others saw him as a freak or a criminal, fans saw the truth. He was a loyal friend, a courageous leader, and someone who always put others first, even when it meant risking his life. And that's exactly what he did. In the final episodes of Season 4, Eddie sacrificed himself to help save the town and his friends from the horrors of the Upside Down. The decision to kill Eddie off felt brutal, especially since the show has a pattern of introducing lovable characters and then cutting their stories short just as fans start to grow attached. We saw it with Barbara in Season 1, Bob in Season 2, and Alexei in Season 3. These characters weren't part of the original gang, but they added something unique to the story. And Eddie was no exception. But unlike the others, Eddie's story keeps coming back in different ways, making it even harder for fans to say goodbye. Now, with the announcement of the new Dungeons and Dragons game Welcome to the Hellfire Club, fans will get the chance to experience the D&D campaign that Eddie created for the Hellfire Club. It's supposed to be a tribute, a way to honor what he started, but for many fans, it just brings back the pain. It's another reminder of what we lost and how much more Eddie had to give if the show had chosen to keep him alive. Every time his name or story pops up, it opens the wound again, and honestly, it feels a little unfair. Eddie's death had a huge emotional impact. It wasn't just sad, it was frustrating. Here was a guy who never got the chance to clear his name. The entire town believed he was a murderer, a devil-worshipping outcast who caused chaos. But in reality, he died a hero. Only a small handful of people, like Dustin, knew the truth. That injustice alone made his death even more painful. Fans wanted to see him have a redemption arc, to be embraced by the Hawkins crew in Season 5, and to find a place where he finally belonged. That chance was stolen the moment he died. Even though Eddie isn't physically returning in Season 5, the show hasn't completely let go of his presence. In the teaser for Season 5, there's a shot of Dustin visiting Eddie's grave. But what's even worse is that the grave is covered in graffiti and vandalized, yet another blow to Eddie's legacy. It shows how the town still sees him as a villain, not the hero he truly was. There's even speculation that Vecna might use Dustin's grief and guilt about Eddie to manipulate him, just like he used Max's feelings about Billy in Season 4. That would be another heartbreaking twist, showing that Eddie's death is still haunting the characters and fans. Eddie Munson's death is being stretched out in a way that's both emotionally powerful and emotionally exhausting. Instead of letting the character rest, the show and its related content keep pulling him back into the spotlight. While that shows just how beloved he is, It also keeps fans stuck in a loop of grief and what ifs. What if he had survived? What if he had joined the Hawkins gang for real? What if he had been given a real future? A lot of fans still hope that somehow Eddie could return in season 5, maybe through a flashback or even a supernatural twist. Stranger Things has pulled off wild surprises before, so nothing is completely off the table. But if the show truly plans to leave Eddie dead and only reference him through grief or side projects like the D&D game, it'll be a tough pill to swallow, especially when other newer characters like Robin and Max were allowed to live and grow into full members of the group. It feels like Eddie never got that chance. To be fair, Welcome to the Hellfire Club does sound like a really cool tribute. It allows players to step into the world Eddie built and imagine the adventures he might have led. It's fun and nostalgic, especially for fans of both Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons. But there's still this bittersweet feeling. The campaign lets you finish what Eddie started, but in doing so, it also underlines the fact that Eddie never got to finish it himself. For a character who made such a big impression in such a short time, it's clear Eddie Munson wasn't just a side character. He meant something. He still means something. Fans talk about him, cosplay him, and keep his spirit alive through fan art and stories. And the show keeps feeding into that love with small updates, teases, and side stories. But at the same time, it raises the question, if Eddie was that important, why was he killed off in the first place? As we get closer to the final season of Stranger Things, the emotions around Eddie's death are only going to grow stronger. Season 5, which will be released in 3 parts between November and December 2025, is the last chance the creators have to do justice to Eddie's story. Whether it's through Dustin's memories, a symbolic redemption, or a spiritual return, fans want more closure. They want Eddie's legacy to mean something more than just pain. Ultimately, the way Eddie's death continues to be revisited makes it harder to move on. It feels like the show wants us to remember him, but not in a peaceful way, in a way that stings every time. His sacrifice was noble, yes, but it was also preventable. Eddie had so much more to offer, not just to the story but to the characters around him. The fans knew it. The cast knew it. And it seems like the creators know it too, which is why they keep bringing him back in small ways. But those small ways aren't enough. They're reminders of what we could have had. Eddie Munson didn't just die in the Upside Down. He died in the hearts of viewers who still haven't recovered. And every new game, teaser, or reference just twists the knife a little more. If Stranger Things wants to honor Eddie properly, Season 5 needs to give him the emotional send-off and recognition that he truly deserves.